off now, so you're good.
I was kind of sitting back there and mystified by the fact that neither of you guys know anything about the Chinese aphrodisiac market and what they grind up those penises and sell them, and that's what that market's all about.
Oh,
and the
wow.
one thing that occurred
Ladies
to
and
me,
gentlemen, Colonel Mike Quinn.
what our timing is unreal.
Wow.
Not only was he beneficial to the police department, but he knows about
There's no way anybody else would know that
Chinese
story.
aphrodisiac market.
How is that even possible?
well, and the thing that mystified me was how do you find a pink flamingo's penis? It just seemed like a mystery beyond. So, but anyway,
Wow.
But you're not very knowledgeable about the aphrodisiac Chinese market.
Anyway,
First of all, I want to know how you know that.
reading.
Okay.
All right, you want to get right into that mic, Colonel.
Closer.
But let's
You're
introduce.
great. You're great.
This is Colonel Quinn, Colonel Mike Quinn, and Mike was a very successful businessman, and then decided that he wanted to get involved, and he was always a police lover. When you talk to the colonel, I mean, over beers and whatnot, you just get his passion for law enforcement. He's a Vietnam veteran, and you just get that passion, and he really wanted to get involved after being a very successful businessman. And what was your reasoning on getting involved with the police department, Mike?
We moved a conventional family from Webster Groves to the city of St. Louis at the corner of West Pine and Sarah in 1986. And the very first police officer that I met was Charlie Abernathy.
Charlie.
I work with Charlie.
And any of you who knew Charlie, he was a very unique police officer. But he took an interest in my moving into the city and kind of gave me some do's and don'ts. And I lived in a neighborhood that was transitional at best. And I was washing my car in the alley one day, and the guy from probation and parole got shot about 150 feet from where I was standing. So I got an indoctrination early. But I had the opportunity when I moved in. Jack Titone, who I'd gone to high school with, was the captain of the 9th District. And I was very impressed with the fact that when I went down into the West End to have dinner on Saturday nights, Jack Titone in his white shirt was walking the streets. So
What year was this, Colonel?
1986, 87. I got the opportunity to meet Gary Perkins, who was then the captain of the 9th District, who followed Jack. He got me involved in the Citizens Academy. And one thing just led to another. I got involved with the 9th District Police Association.
Were you like Tackleberry in the Citizens Academy?
It was just the whole exposure was just wonderful. And one thing led to another. And I was, as I was inquiring about what was going on in the department, there was a lot of, we were losing people were being proselytized to Webster Groves, to Kirkwood, to the FBI.
Kind of like now.
Because the residency rule was an impediment. And that became my passion, was to get involved, and to the point that I wanted to change the residency rules to remove that impediment.
And that, sir, I thank you.
Yeah, me too.
And I think, John, you got something with, I believe Chief Mokwa called you and at the time and said, yeah, you got, because myself and you and numerous other people had already flown the coop.
Yeah, we were already gone. So
Well,
they made it an hour from St. Louis. And I was.
but I'll say this:
An hour
it
from
needed to
St.
be done, and there's no doubt. And I took advantage of it. But the most fun I probably had in the police department when we all lived together in St. Louis Hills.
Well,
And that was cool. But
Arnold talked about it when we were talking earlier, is that you can do that until you send kids to school.
Well, that was the thing, that the young police officer joined the department with all the enthusiasm, and they get married, and 7 or 8 years later, they're faced with a dilemma. Either you send your kids to a parochial Catholic school. You're probably not interested in putting your kids in the environment of the public schools. And, there were a couple of times that I'd be talking to police officers, and they'd talk to me about being at Walgreens and having a guy walk up to them and say, I know where you live. I know who you are, know who your family is. And it was, I mean, there's a intimidation factor when you're trying to protect your family and raise them in a healthy environment, and you're being accosted at a Walgreens and being told that you're in danger because some shithead knows who you are and where you live.
Right.
Yeah, that was a motivation for all of us who
Yeah.
left early.
Right.
Was, hey, they're not going to do anything while you're there. They're gonna do it while you're at work and your family is home, defenseless, and so a lot of us took the chance. And by the way, Laurie Urson and Kim Allen and Maureen Ramsey say hello,
Colonel,
Colonel.
Colonel, who was
Right.
your who was
We've
the
been
chief-
on for a half hour.
You
Ain't
probably
said
know
shit.
better.
Colonel comes on, all of a sudden they want to say hi.
They've been on.
Those
before.
are great
I'm
friends.
kidding.
I'm glad to say hi back to them and know that they're listening.
when were you finally approached to become a board member, though?
That was an interesting process. There was a particular alderman who became the president of the board of aldermen, who discovered what my passion was. And you have to know that city politics are very unique, and the protection of people living in the city was a greater passion for the aldermen than it was to protect the police officers and what their passions were. So this particular gentleman interceded against me. And this was when Mel Carnahan was the governor. And I had worked to get myself in position to get nominated. And this particular individual made sure that nomination fell on deaf ears. So I had to start all over again. And we just lost Jimmy Holleran, who was my political sponsor. Pat Doherty, who was a state senator at the time, was my political sponsor, and had the opportunity to get the invitation, and I was thrilled when I got sworn in.
Because they knew
Wait.
your passion was that residency rule, and that's
I
the
kept my
main
mouth
reason.
shut. I think I kept my mouth shut.
Who was the alderman?
He's deceased. He's deceased.
Can we raise a toast to Jim Holland while we're talking about
Absolutely.
it? What a great guy on McGurk's, great lawyer, great man.
That's a good
So
one.
that's who got you.
Friend.
That's awesome.
So one of the things I know that over your time, how long were you with the police department? From what years?
2003 to 2007 was my term.
So that was only 4 years, but you created and your passion for policemen, and you would always spot those ones that you wanted to become friends with, and you did become friends with. And I know you're going to leave some out. So anybody out there that Colonel Quinn is friends with and he leaves you out, it's not because I mean, there's just so many.
There really are. And, the guys that worked in the 9th District Bureau were the first guys that I had admiration for. I won't try to, and that's so far back in my history, it'd be impossible. But,
Right.
I'm trying right now desperately to think of
Don't
guys.
worry. That's all right.
When you think about the emotional things that happened to me during my career and the times that I was called to a shooting scene, or I had to go to the hospital because someone had been injured in the line of duty. You think about Joe Speech, you think about Jimmy Moran, you think about the guys that came and grabbed you and said, "Hey, we'd like you to talk to the families." And it's probably one of the things that you're never really prepared to do. You really didn't think about when you enthusiastically volunteered for the job, but when you have to face a mother and father who've lost a son in the line of duty, it puts a whole different spin on the opportunity, and it builds a whole new level of respect for the guys that are out on the street. And a lot of the guys that I had a great deal of respect for were the street cops, the guys that worked in mobile, the guys that worked in SWAT, the
You said
guys.
mobile?
Yeah.
All right.
No,
Yeah.
geez.
I'm not trying to blow a skirt up
Keep going.
Right.
anybody's.
We get it.
What's up, Jeff? You get it, don't you, Jeff?
But I do have a great deal of it. These are what we affectionately refer to as the real police. These are the guys that are out there that, I brought a conventional family into the city of St. Louis. And every time somebody retires, if I get an invitation, I show up. I still have an admiration for everybody that has taken on the opportunity to put on that shirt and wear that badge and put the gun on their hip. It's a tremendous amount of responsibility. Yeah, I'm a combat infantryman. I did my time walking the jungles of Vietnam. I've been shot at. I know how terrorizing it is. And the guys that are out on the street are taking care of my family. The guys and gals that are out on the street are taking care of my family. And those are the people that I truly care about. And I wanted to do whatever I could to try to pay back.
That's why
That's a
you're.
great
That's why
answer.
you're
I
a
mean,
great
you really
board
didn't
member.
name too many people, but it's just about.
That's
I-
awesome.
if I-
No,
right,
no,
It
no.
was just about everybody. That was awesome.
He summed it up great, and that's
Exactly.
why his passion is for police, because he was there. He was the real deal. So you're still proud to say you. I'm not going to say where you live, but you're proud that you still live in the city.
Absolutely. And my
City's great.
children, two of my children, three of my children all lived in the city at different points in time. Now, the oldest one has just moved away and gone to Utah. My daughter was in the city for a number of years, and she now is in University City. And my son is still living in the city, my middle child, and he's still in the city. And, we're a family that's dedicated to the city of St.
I
Louis.
love it.
And one of the things, Mike, that's hot topic now is state control versus city control. And obviously you were under state control, which under state control, for those that don't know, the police department would appoint a board, and the board would consist of the mayor and 4 appointees from the governor. And Mike, was what our Colonel Quinn was appointed under Governor Holden. And just explain in your view of why that is a better process than what they have now.
Let's stay out of this conversation.
Yeah, I don't want to I don't want to ask JJ to step in here. It is really it's a delicate situation. When city control came in, I was apprehensive. I worried about the politics. The kinds of things that I worried about have come to pass. I mean, when you have the personnel director of the city of St. Louis trying to depart discipline and determine who gets hired and who gets fired, I think that's a misnomer. That it should be the purview of people who are involved in policing, who understand what the job really is. And I think that's the thing that the governor works very hard at, is selecting people who want to serve, who have an introspection to what policing is all about. Hey, the first year that I was a young police colonel, there was a particular officer who misbehaved and came before us as our board trial. And all of my young friends were lined up across the back of the courtroom, and they were shooting daggers at me.
I remember.
And I fired this young man for cause, because he was a two-time loser, and I wasn't going to put him on the street to make a third mistake. So I think if the governor's careful and he selects the people, you need people with business experience, you need people with personnel experience, you need people who've been at the firing line, who understand what the job is about, and who have some compassion and sensitivity to the job.
But you also, and without mentioning names, went to bat for somebody that was so you just talked about letting somebody go, but you also, everybody else wanted to let somebody go, and you said no.
I strongly disagreed. I think that when there's a chance for rehabilitation, when somebody makes a mistake in terms of an interrogative process, if somebody crosses the line in an interrogative process, it's very different than being out on the street and drawing your weapon and shoving it in somebody's mouth. They're two very different situations, and I think
that's no good.
They need to be treated. They need to be treated differently.
Kind of.
That's a little frowned upon.
But no, and then we'll be remiss to say that the guy that you fired went on to find another job.
And he has reprimanded me several times that I could stop sticking up for him, because he's very happy in the job that he's gotten. And the guy that I fired has been very successful.
Absolutely.
So
there's not
outcomes-
everybody's built for this job.
exactly.
Right.
And the board doesn't make everyday decisions.
No,
I mean,
right.
you still defer, especially like on my dad's board got to pick a chief pretty early on, and they deferred to, they chose Bob Sheets, and they deferred to him with his 40 years police knowledge. But the bigger decisions, you can cut out a lot of just all the nonsense and look at it more from the 20,000 foot view. as like you said, Colonel, as is this smart for business? Is this smart for our image? Where if you've been in the mix for all those years, you maybe don't have the same perspective. But you all, every person I know that's ever taken that job, including my father and Nesby Moore and yourself, and everybody does it for truly altruistic reasons because they want to see
Noble reasons.
yeah, they want to see the department do well and the city do well, and they care about the people who wear the badge.
I can't tell you how upset I was. Firing range is near and dear to my heart as a former infantryman. I recognize that that's where you go to learn. That's where, and when I was on, there were two brothers who ran the range at that point in time.
The Burnett's.
The Burnett's. And
Very passionate about
Oh,
that range.
they were
the best.
they were incredible teachers.
Yes, they
And
were.
to know that has fallen into disrepair, to me, that's the brightest, whitest light that you can shine on what the problem is when the tactical program that you have that teaches exactly what you have to do every day out on the street is allowed to fall into disrepair. How does that reflect in terms of what's the mission fallen off to? What's going on here? Now, today, there's, pieces of the building are falling on the ground. We've already heard that the roof's leaking, that the air conditioning doesn't work. And the city's sitting on $280 million and they don't know what to do with it. I mean, come on. There's a leadership problem that really needs to be rectified. So I'm applauding Governor Kehoe. I think at this point in time, I've seen enough. I think that the police board would be a lot more responsive to what the needs of the police department are.
Absolutely. And I think, I think everybody, I mean,
I'm saying mom,
saying
but
neutral?
Yeah,
I'm just gonna go. I'm
It's
just gonna
unfair to
go
have
and
Jim
say
in
that
there.
that 99.9% of policemen agree with you. And one of the things that the police department needs is that business sense. I mean, we are a paramilitary organization,
Yes.
but you have to have successful people that know how to run stuff and have budgets and know how to do all that stuff running this place.
Yeah, there's a funding necessity from the vehicles that you go out in every day to the weapons that you shoulder to the tactical units that you put out on the street to deal with specific issues on the city. All of these things are necessary to successful policing and reduction of crime. And it isn't just counting numbers or policing up grass. I think there's a lot more to it than what I'm seeing from the leadership in terms of what's coming from the administrative portion of the city that's funneling down to the needs of the police department.
Let me ask you this, Mike. Does I keep saying Colonel?
It's okay.
I know.
And I think that speaks volumes too of my relationship with the people that I met and the friendships that I made. I never wanted to be Colonel. I really did want to be Mike.
But you are Colonel.
I appreciate the respect that I get, but at the same point in time, I appreciate the friendships that I've created.
I think you earned it.
Absolutely. That's one of the best. I mean, I've been wanting to get him on the show forever.
No
He
doubt.
showed up tonight and I said, guess what? You're coming on the show.
I love it.
So this is great. And then, but as far as budget, can the state help them out in different ways? If they have control, will they feel, is it easier to get some funding from the state if the state has control?
The only thing that I witnessed during state control in terms of funding were losses from liability losses where their lawsuits were filed and there was a court decision that came down that made the city liable for police officers' actions. In terms of the operating budget, the funds come from the city of St. Louis. The payroll is determined by the city of St. Louis. The funds that buy the police cars it comes from the operating budget of the city of St. Louis. That was one thing that Francis Slay made very clear to me. Never forget, Mike. Ultimately, this comes out of the city budget. So that's a critical part of looking forward. Oh, yes, that's true. But you have to carve out that portion of it to make sure that the organization is functioning at a high level, because that's what's making your city safe.
Do you know what is the percentage of the budget that goes to the police department? Do you know?
I don't. Because I've been involved
Somebody
in so long.
quoted today, I think 25%.
Yeah.
Is that what you said, Greg? 25% of the budget?
Yes, he's correct. I knew the answer I was asking. It's 25%.
Let me give you the most shocking statistic of all. In 1986, I brought a conventional family from the city of Webster Groves to the city of St. Louis. Jack Titone was the captain of the 9th District. There were 2,200 police officers who were on duty working in the city of St. Louis in 1986. By the time I left the board, I think the authorized strength had shrunk to something like 1,400.
1,400.
As I understand it today, you'd be lucky to find 980 guys that are actually drawing a paycheck from the St. Louis Police Department.
Yes.
Now, and think about at least a third of those are administrative, because you have to have an administrative cadre to run the team that's out there on the streets.
But the workload hasn't lessened.
No. Well, and the one thing I mean, at that point in time, the 9th District did not include it's not Laclede Town, but what is the name of the annexed area?
Up there, like the old 5th District?
Yeah.
Like College Hill and all that?
Yeah. There was an annexation that took place that the 9th District
JVL.
gained some additional territory without any real addition in manpower.
And the 9th District's gone now. I mean,
yeah.
we're down to 6, but it's the districts are so much bigger.
One of the things that I used to be very proud of, I could name every captain that worked in the 9th District from Jack Titone to Mike Caruso in order. And I used to kid Lyda Cruson about that all the time. But I was very proud of the fact I knew every one of those guys on a first name basis. And nobody was more hurt than I was when the 9th District disappeared.
No, and you were very close, like you said, with the captains, and not only captains, but neighborhood officers.
Yes.
You're very tight with the neighborhood
Yeah.
officers, and you've seen what they did on a daily basis, and they really helped out the community. And I think you have, I believe Ron Hasty was one of the guys that you always talked to me about, that he would really, really be responsive to the whole neighborhood's concerns.
Ronnie Hasty would lay in the bushes at 2:00 in the morning to catch a bad actor. So, and you know, there are various people that I met. You know, George Venegoni. I mean, there's some great people and friendships that I made over a period of time. And I'm embarrassed that, you know, at the tender age of 79, I can't sit here and give you a roll call of all the people but the people that were most impactful. I can see their faces.
And we visited the night of the boxing matches. We visit your table. You've had a table there for how many years?
We're over 25 years.
25 years.
And I'm very proud of that table. I like to think that I've got one of the best tables at the Guns and Hoses match in terms of.
Wait, Dodge is it Dodge at your
Yeah,
table?
yeah.
Well, that's
Dodge and Spies,
well, there you go.
but Harry Hager,
He makes up for those two.
Roy Jocham-Scholar,
Another one that helps make up for the
That-
other two.
He's getting better.
JJ Chichaki.
There
Yep.
you go.
All right.
All right,
He's
so
going
Doc-
back down.
Okay. You're back,
So,
you're back up.
And of course, the funniest funny man who we've all know is Danny Schulte,
Oh, Schulte.
Oh, man.
who's always a riot. And
Randy
Schulte, who gets mixed up with Sweeney all the time.
All the
Between
time.
the two of them, they get mixed up all
yeah,
the time.
unfortunately.
Same personality.
That's Schulte's fault for putting all that weight on.
Ooh.
Oh, Chuck and Barb's at the end here.
Hey, we're friends.
But Mike, first of all, we appreciate you. And Mike I'm sorry, Colonel has been a supporter of this show from day one.
Seriously?
He sent in.
Yeah.
This ain't your first time? You didn't hear about us today?
I just am curious, how many people have we lost since I came on?
You jumped up.
We popped up. We tripled our audience, Colonel.
Jake
I
just
like
said. Jake just said. Just jumped up.
But
you know what? Actually, you were a great interview. You were.
Thank you.
I always knew you're going to be very good at what you did on this. So you were awesome.
he's
Thank
been
you.
with us for day one. He's been very supportive when I run into him, and I've run into him numerous times throughout the
From the earliest days in the basement of Columbo's, when it was all on the radio voices, and even last week when for the first 20 minutes of the live show there was no sound.
That's how we roll, baby.
I've witnessed a lot of growth over the years.
I just have one more question for you,
Yes, sir.
Colonel. Were you ever down in this basement before?
Never.
Okay. All right. That's good.
I've got a comment from Judge Milliken, said, great show, fellas. Thanks for your service to our country and to our city, Colonel.
Thank you very much, Judge.
That is-
I appreciate it.
And the judge is already clocked
That's
out.
Pelican,
I'm
yep.
sure he signed off already.
Yep. He's watching to make sure his son don't screw up.
The sun's
Well,
gone, I think.
Yeah, he
Cheers,
left.
cheers,
He left
and-
out.
Congratulations, guys.
Thanks,
on
Colonel.
the
Thank you
show.
so
Appreciate
much.
Thank you so
coming
much,
on,
Colonel.
Man, you're awesome. You were great. Man.
John, what did Schicker ask us to do?
Olivia from Schicker said that they're working on the jingle and thought maybe we could help them out with some ideas.
I love Tom's jingle. He's got
So we came up with a jingle. You
You
ready?
came up-
You ready, Colonel?
I am.
Watch this. When you don't want to bicker about the price on the sticker, head to Schicker where you get the best deal quicker. Schicker Automotive is a proud sponsor member of Backstoppers. Support those that support us. So when you're thinking of buying a new or used vehicle, head to any of the Schicker locations located in South St. Louis, Pacific, or is it Union and Washington, Missouri.
I'm
Or-
a very proud former Schicker customer. So
Yes, there we go.
I've bought a Schicker Ford.
Or you can go to
Me too.
Schicker,
I drive one.
shopschicker.com.
There you go. I like it.
Shop local, shop Schicker.
Yep.
If you want to get a cigar, would you smoke cigars,
No,
Colonel?
I don't. I'm a reformed cigarette smoker who doesn't. I don't touch tobacco.
But you know
time
where
I
you wanna
started
go if
again,
you
a
do
cigar
that.
Was involved.
For all your cigar
Yes.
needs, head to
Thank you.
Riverman Cigar Company,
Yes, sir.
located at 8984 Watson Road.
The best.
See Dan Ponder. Dan is the man with the cigar plan with all kinds of brands that will please any cigar fan. Go see Dan and tell him the Brighter Side of Blue sent you, and you'll get a special discount, 8984 Watson Road.
And the most
Did-
important
did-
thing,
hey,
communities that support.
Wait, we're not done with the
Oh.
advertisement.
So
Do you have one? You got a little jingle for Prime Performer?
I don't have a jingle for them, but you know where you want to go if you want to rediscover your prime.
Yes,
Where do you go?
Prime Performance. It's one. I don't. Fuck.
You don't even know where it's at. do
Yeah,
you?
it's one's in.
know where it's at?
Yeah, one's in Fenton and one at
44 Fenton Plaza.
Plaza.
You
Another
know where
one's
the other
one
one's at?
at 122 Central Plaza.
That's
and-
because you stole it off my notes.
I can't read
Yeah,
that.
you can't.
I got my cheaters on 122 O'Fallon Plaza or Central. Fuck, just
Is this
say
the
it.
best close
Right.
ever?
Hey,
This is the best
here,
close.
and then
We
you
just
know where
lost
you
all
get-
our sponsors.
we
Shit,
ain't done.
we got one more. We got to go talk about some pizzas at Columbo's too.
We already got that. We already got that.
No, we didn't do that one.
We're at Prime Performance. You know what you do? Rediscover your prime.
Right.
You know how they do that? They got all kinds of stuff they offer.
Keep
you
going.
can do testosterone therapy, hormone
I
therapy,
need all that
vitamin
shit.
injection,
I think I need all that shit.
medical weight loss, IV therapy, peptides. If you did all that, you know how good of a pickleball player you might be.
I'd be
there with
professional.
Danny.
I'd be
As a
better than
pickleball
Danny.
player.
I'd be way better. I'm a better athlete.
Absolutely.
Way better athlete than Danny.
So and I'm telling you, if you went with Prime Performance over there with the worms,
I think I might
not
do it.
Bubba, but the rest of the worms,
Right.
They'll hook you up.
Minus Bubba.
They'll hook you up. You'll be the best damn pickleball player ever.
Where do you get a Seabo's pizza at?
Here at Columbo's, but
Okay.
you know where you go for all your printing needs,
Yes,
and they don't print money. That's the only thing they don't print.
I should.
For all your other printing needs, you go to Marvell Printing, Mark Colombini,
Calbini.
1928 South Broadway, 341-231-1477.
You know, he's got
Union
a
Shop.
Mark Calbini. I should probably know this, but they may have a nephew or somebody that's a county police officer. Calbini.
Colombini.
Yeah, he's actually
Is-
going to
Is
work
it a
at the.
common name?
He's going to work at the soccer stadium.
All right,
He hasn't
good.
put in yet, but
All right. That
All right.
makes it even go get more
yeah,
printing. Get some
right.
shit printed.
I'm going to go by there one of these days.
We need some cards.
I know.
Go by
I
and
know.
get some cards.
We need some
Like,
cards. I'm going by.
I'm gonna take care of
then, you got to for security needs where you got to go.
Oh, Corby Campbell.
You get any jobs from him lately?
I haven't. No,
You're
he's
like one of his ace men, aren't you?
I am, but he only hires me for the real
Did
important.
he call
jobs.
you for the Super Bowl?
He did
You know, he
not.
got the Super Bowl.
I did. I'm pissed off, Bob. So I probably never worked for
He
him
was
again.
telling me he was up there and says,
No
I
shit.
can't believe I'm at the Super Bowl.
That's
But he
badass.
did the security for some security for AB.
Well, he's tied with
That
AB.
landed him in the Super
Jeff,
Bowl.
how come you didn't? You're friends with Corby. How come you didn't go?
No,
Why
we're
didn't
gonna
you go
have
to
to.
Super Bowl?
Corby's going to have to start hiring some
You
people.
know, where's he? He forgot about us. He forgot
Right.
about us.
He's talking about all these.
The hell
these-
with Corby Campbell
yeah,
and
he's talking
security.
about all these green berets he had and everything.
You
guys say SLFPD SWAT
we're SWAT, man.
Ain't
You're
shit.
SWAT or you're not.
ain't shit. Corby Campbell didn't hire none of you.
No, that's bullshit.
That's how good he is.
Because he knows I'm
'Cause
not.
you guys
I'm so
suck.
important. that I
He
don't have
hires
time.
such good people that his security's that high that you guys suck.
Do your final.
That's how good of a
do your
security
final
is.
closing.
I got a random shoot first has been chiming in.
Who's shoot first?
I don't
What's
know,
he got?
but he's got some suggestions. But he did say Scooter Snacks on Natural Bridge is one of TT's buddies that went legit. So if you
Scooter Snacks.
so
yes.
if you go down, if you take the long way back from Columbus tonight, stop at like
Scooter Snacks.
Yeah.
Where's
Hey.
it at, Johnny?
5100 block of Natural Bridge.
I will
Scooter
be.
Snack-
I'm going. I'm
Dude,
when
I'm
I'm
roll
working.
with you.
Well, when I go to work, I got to work next week. I'm going up to Scooter Snacks.
I'm in.
You want?
I mean, what do we got? We got anything else, John? You want to chime in?
Brian McKenna chimed in and said that
Oh shit!
Oh no.
Corby Campbell is the bomb when it comes to security. Keeps him safe.
There you
See,
go.
there it is.
Brian
McKenna.
don't need to be safe. He's tough enough.
We need to get him on the show.
Yep.
He's a crazy. You used to go. You used to
Yeah.
run with him in college, didn't you?
I known him since grade school. I used to play him in every sport there was. He went to
Was he a
Providence.
good
I would say
athlete?
at
He
the
was a good athlete, wasn't
I hate to say that live, but yeah, he's a pretty good athlete.
he? He's a great
Good
dude.
dude.
He gave us a lot of advice when we started the show.
Can I tell a story about Brian McKenna?
Yeah, shit. He's listening. You might as well.
We played junior college soccer together. We went to South Rolla to play against Rolla. We were a junior college team. So we decided it was a good idea to spend the night down there or stay down there. So it was me and Kevin, Brian, and Brian's girlfriend.
So Kevin is Brian's
I
twin,
mean, he was a
and he was a policeman.
he was a policeman.
We went to
He
academy together.
just worked, retired out of the brewery. So Brian was a tough kid, and he was. So we go
You told this story before, but tell it again.
on here.
I believe so.
No way, I did.
I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
All right,
So-
I'll
so-
defer to the colonel.
So I'm gonna hear it again. So we decide to stick around in Raleigh. We're gonna go to a party. So we go to a house party on campus. We go in there. We know no one. I mean, absolutely no one. And Brian's with his gal. I don't know her name, but I ain't gonna lie, she was pretty. She was hot.
She was smoking.
She was a smoke show.
All right.
So we're in the kitchen for some reason. I'm with and Kevin's in a knee brace on crutches, full knee brace.
You're about to get in a fight, ain't you?
Well, Brian comes up to me and says, "Hey, man, it's
There's
going.
no other reason.
We don't know one.
Mention
We
it.
don't know one." He says, "It's going down." I go, "What the hell are you talking about?" He goes, "Some guy just grabbed my gal's butt,"
But yeah, here we go.
and I'm like, and Kevin goes, "I don't know how good I can do, but I'm just gonna grab the first two guys. I'm just gonna grab them and get them to the ground." And I'm like, "What?" And Kevin and Brian's like, "I got that feeling, it's a go." I'm like, "Are you lost your fucking mind?" I said, "We know no one here.
We're outnumbered.
We're outnumbered by 20-1." I go, "Well, how about we just get the hell out of here?" And they both looked, those two idiots. Sorry, Kevin and Brian. They looked at each other like, they're kind of like, "Yeah, he's probably right." So we decided to leave and we left.
And that's why you're a tactical genius, because you can count.
You're right.
Right.
Right. I mean, it would have probably been fun and we have a better story than we do now, but
Yeah, but
holy
you'd
shit,
have got your
dude.
butts
I
kicked.
think you should have went.
We should.
I
But-
just think it would have been a better
The fight-
story.
But Brian comes to me, goes, "I got that shaky feeling. I knew I'm going to get in a fight. And we're going." I'm like, "What, you lost your mind?" Sorry. Is he still listening?
Yeah, he just gave us some smiley face.
Sorry, Brian. But hey, I talked you out of it. Thank you.
All right,
You're
this is
welcome.
getting to be fun. I think we will get better at this live stuff. I know we had some. Do we have any glitches tonight?
No, we won't. We're never getting
Not too
better at
bad.
This is the best.
We didn't have any
ability.
glitches. You guys were working feverishly. They're taking away because when we're talking, they're working feverishly over here on the computer, and it's tough to, isn't it? It's tough to keep focused.
They've
Well,
been
they
busy.
throw in-
They've been busy.
Throw in 4 1-hits, 2 shots, and about 4 beers.
They're bringing up pictures or we're talking about and shit. So anyway, we probably need to end this. And how do we usually end it, Tom?
Communities that support law enforcement are safer places to live.
Amen.
Thank you all.
Good night.
Peace.